Ilkay Gundogan is undoubtedly one of the best midfielders in world football, and with him Barcelona have a midfielder who is very versatile and can play in different positions. The question is, what is his actual best position? What role inside Barcelona's lineup actually fits him the best? Well, that's what we'll discuss in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. First of all, let's have a look at the different roles inside of Xavi's Barcelona midfield. You've got a defensive midfielder, someone who will always need to stay deep and who needs to transition the ball from defense into midfield without succumbing to the press of the opponent. This player needs to have disciplined positioning to stick to that spot in order for the team's structure to remain organized. He also needs to be press resistant, of course. He needs to have the ability to not need too much time to read the game and make a decision. He needs to be able to intercept and recover balls, and it's also a no-brainer that his vision and passing need to be great. First of all, you see why Frenkie de Jong at defensive midfield is a problem. He won't stick to that position, at least not if you allow him to be at his best. And that'll result in the team structure collapsing, which can be a danger in regards to opposition counterattacks. When it comes to Gundogan though, he actually could be the perfect defensive midfielder for Xavi to use. At the start of the game against Sevilla, he played in this role, and he did so perfectly. He was the ideal link between defense and midfield, didn't lose any balls and always had the discipline to stay in that position. In the past at Man City, he has played as a defensive midfielder as well, and he did so with great performances. So this is definitely a way for Xavi to use him. Next, there are two interiors in Xavi's team. One who sits a little deeper and will sometimes go and help to make the ball transition from defense to attack, and who is important in Barcelona's general ball circulation and dictating the pace of the game, while the other one is still important to maintain that pace of the game as well, but will also have that role to make the ball transition into attack, and to really link up and move in between the attackers at moments, and make runs into the box as well sometimes. Generally, that's how Xavi's two interiors play, but this will always depend on who those players actually are as well. Now, again, Gundogan can actually perfectly play in both roles. He can either be the metronome who stays in midfield and really dictates the pace of the game, but he can also perfectly be the more attacking one who links up with the attackers a lot and makes runs into the box. Which one of these two he would need to play really depends on who that other interior is actually. If it is Xavi or Frenkie de Jong, then he should be the more attacking one, as he is better at attacking positioning and link-up play than them, and is more comfortable making forward runs. If it is Pedri though, these two could actually both play both roles, and there would honestly be less of a difference in how they played. Their roles would be quite similar. If it is Fermin Lopez or one of the attackers who plays in a deeper role like Rafinha has already done though, then he should be the deeper one, as he is more comfortable in that deeper role than his fellow interior in that case. Gundogan can actually play in all three of Xavi's usual midfield roles, and often Xavi will play him where he needs him the most. With the busy schedule and with injuries, it's great to have a player like him who's that versatile, and in the coming months I'm sure he'll play in every possible midfield position. But in an ideal world where no players are injured, where would you play Gundogan then? Well, for him to be at his best, I think you shouldn't actually play him close to the attackers. Often when he played there, he wasn't that involved in the circulation of the ball, and he is really the kind of player that you do want to have on the ball as much as possible. So that attacking interior position, it's maybe not his best. Should you play him in that more controlling interior role then? Well, I think that would suit him better, but there's a problem. If you look at Barcelona's squad, there are a lot of world-class players who are at their best if they play in that role. Xavi, Frenkie de Jong, Pedri, they're at their best being the one who makes everything transition and being the one who dictates the pace of the game. For Gundogan to ever be in this lineup and for this midfield to be at its very best, Xavi might not have to play Oriol Romeu at defensive midfield, but play Gundogan in that role. That way you would have someone with the perfect qualities to be that link between defense and midfield, someone who stays in that position and someone who can even make the play from there with inch-perfect passes. Briefly, someone like Sergio Busquets himself. Gundogan could actually turn out to be a good replacement for him, and this would allow the other world-class midfielders to still have a spot in that midfield as well, and consequently this midfield to be at its very best. But is Gundogan defensively as solid as Oriol Romeu? Honestly, more or less, he's not disastrous at defending, and if you would have Xavi as one of your interiors, he would still make a lot of ball recoveries and interceptions. He could have that defensive quality that some are afraid Gundogan might not have. So if you want Gundogan to be at his best, and Barcelona's midfield to be as good as possible, I would play Gundogan as a defensive midfielder, Xavi as an interior, and either Frenkie de Jong or Pedri as that third midfielder. Throughout the season, Xavi needs to rotate that much that everyone will have more than enough playing time. But if I could really only choose one of the two, it would have to be Pedri. I'd just be very interested to see a Gundogan, Xavi, Pedri midfield. But above all, I'm interested to see how Xavi will use Gundogan for the remainder of the season, and whether Gundogan will stay an option for him in that defensive midfield role. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça, Força Gundogan, and have a good day.